How y'all doing today? It's Coach Tabor here, and I'll be doing another coach's talk. And today I'll be flying solo. Nobody likes me, I guess. But today I want to just talk about social media. And again, these are all things that are my personal opinion on how I feel, on things that I view. And, I've been around a lot of great programs, and I've seen both sides of things. And basically, the quote that I want to talk about is from a guy named Gary V. He's on TikTok, Twitter, he's on everything. And I really enjoy his content. I really enjoy what he talks about social media wise. And basically, somebody asked him a question, and it really stirred me to think about it. They asked him, what's better? One good quality content, tweet, post, video, etc., or is it okay just to get good content out a lot? And I think both work. I think as coaches we evolve, as coaches we continue to get better, we continue to adapt, we continue to overcome. And that's no different with social media. I coach in a county. We have 17, 18 high schools, not including Catholic schools that these kids can attend and choose. And it's open enrollment. There is not really a set homeschool. I mean, there is, but those kids can deviate away from that very easily. And so the thing for me is I know I get a lot of coaches that text me like, man, you just put out a lot of stuff, man. Like, dude, you're going to have to get unfollowed, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't do what I do for anybody else other than my programs or anything else like that. And I'm not saying that in a bad way or take shots at whoever, but I do feel that, whatever you think works. But you have to believe in it. You have to buy into the social media and understand that this is going to be there and it's only getting bigger. I have several nieces that are young and they are on them tablets. They love them tablets. And I had a conversation with one of my niece's dads and just told him, like, man, I know you hate social media and you hate all this technology, but they have to have it, unfortunately, because without that, they're going to be behind, because now everything is so about technology and everything is online and you can find everything online and you can look at whatever you want and, all those things. And there is a lot of negatives to social media. I'm not saying there's not. There's a ton of negatives. The critics, the negatives, not staying right. But I know I did a social media cleanup and just got rid of a lot of stuff, started following a lot of motivational accounts, a lot of baseball accounts, and my viewpoint has changed. Everything I've seen has changed, and I think we have to learn that things are only as good as we make them, and we know that as coaches. Things are only as good as we make them. But both work. Super high quality. I'm just my type. I'm just going to send out information. I don't care what it is. I'm just going to send it out there and let it happen. And especially I'm at a program right now where we're trying to build and do some nice things. And I want everyone to be aware of that. I want everyone to know that things are changing. I want everyone to be aware of, the culture that's going on. So that way when you're asked about that, you've seen it. And I'm not saying that everything that happens should or should not go on social media, but when you're, especially I feel at a young program that could be special, that you're building, you have to promote. And the biggest way to do that is social media. But I've also coached and been assistants at programs to where some of that stuff's not needed. Sometimes your program speaks for itself, and really a state championship or a regional championship or district championship or big accolades is all that impresses the people that follow you. It's all about knowing the people that follow you, knowing your audience. I don't think a 10-time state championship school is going to worry about they just won a district championship. So they're not going to post something like that. But a school that maybe struggles to make the region or they're sectional, like, they're going to post about it. They're going to be excited. There's different emotions in different programs. And as coaches, we have to understand that. As coaches, we have to understand every situation is different. And we should know that. Every situation calls for something different. And that goes with social media, just not on your ball field or your diamond, your court, whatever the case may be. It comes down to adapting. So again, I'm at Moore High School. We're building. We're doing great things. Got some great young talent. And I want to promote that. I want people to see that there's great things going on, and there's no way for them to see those things if we don't put it out there. There's no way for people to see the things that you want them to see if you don't put it out there. We have to be okay with the backlash. You have to be okay with the critics. You have to be okay with the quote-unquote burner accounts coming at you and saying nasty things. Guess what? Not everybody's going to agree with what we do, and we know that. We know we're going to catch hell on social media. We will. We know this. But at the end of the day, if you love your kids, you're doing right by them, and you're ultimately promoting your program, promoting everything that's going on, there is no wrong way. Now, if you're one of those guys that, man, I'm just not a social media guy, I'm not blah, 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 there's someone that you can attach yourself to that does know. I promise you, whether it's an ex-player that you give a call and say, hey, man, I just would like your help on some social media, I promise you there's somebody, a former player, a manager, a young assistant coach. You can do whatever you have to do that. But again, you might be at one of those programs to where little things aren't necessarily talked about. Those are the standards, or whatever the case may be. I'm not going to get into the long list of things it could be, but if you're at one of them programs, make sure you're sending out quality content every day. Make sure that when somebody looks up your Twitter handle or your Instagram or whatever you got going on for your page for your baseball, or if it's your website, it wows them, because that's where we're at. You have to wow these guys by what you're doing with social media. Are they being promoted? I learned this, and it was a tough learning curve for me, but I coached the 17U Kentucky Bulls, and we had a Twitter account, and I really wasn't tweeting that much, and I really wasn't going after it. But then I got after it, followed about 200 or 300 colleges. They, probably about 100 of them followed back, which is 1 in 3. I'll take that every rip. And then we start tweeting out MVPs of the game, and we start doing little things and promoting this, and then now we get direct messages, and we're hearing back from colleges, hey, I'd like to talk to this guy. Well, okay, cool. We're going to be at this tournament in your area on this date. And I just seen social media open up so many doors. I would like to say on my small account to where I might have 200 followers for our baseball program. But of those 200, I would like to say at least 50 are colleges. So that gives my guys an advantage over someone who's just not willing to tweet, in my opinion. I'm not saying my guys are more talented. I'm not saying that they're going to get signed before any of your guys. But my guys have the advantage because they're being seen. They're out there. They're being told to put those videos out there, and they're being told to be active on this. And again, as much negative as we can pull from the social media side of things, and I know it's hard, and times are changing, people are just crazy with social media, and I get it. But there's a lot of good. There's a lot of motivation. There's a lot of quotes. There's a lot of learning to be done on social media. I watch a lot of YouTube videos and just iron sharpening iron, getting better, doing things right, trying to, all right, well, I like this from him, and, I like this from this guy. And, my favorite coach that I've learned from, that's a big name, is Jim Schlossnagle from TCU. Selfless excellence and energy. And I've preached that, and he made me buy in. I didn't even want his players. But I know that what his standard is, that's where he's at. I love watching TCU play. I love everything about what they're doing. And then when you start picking these pieces and you're learning, well, then you get to the college level and you see how important social media is. Well, why is that? Why is the emphasis not the same in high schools? LSU was phenomenal this year with Joe Burrow, and being a Heisman winner and being the great quarterback he is. But they did a phenomenal job of promoting him. I personally do not think, I'm sure I watch enough college football, I'd have heard the name Joe Burrow, but I didn't realize this dude was a dog until I get on Twitter and I'm scrolling through some highlights and I see this dude's tearing the college football up. He's just tearing it up. Well, then I gain interest, and then I start following, right? So you got some guy from Kentucky following Joe Burrow and LSU football because they did a phenomenal job. And I think that's what it can be. It can be quality content. It can be one post. They can be one post a week. But I think as coaches, we have to learn to start deviating away from our old ways and start doing things a little differently, to where social media is a part of your program. To where, I know for my program, we use Twitter and Remind. I'm not saying that's the best idea. But I know that when my school building, or when my admin, or when a teacher is, and I'm just going to use Twitter in this sense, retweeting or putting out more information. So I have 200 followers. Well, somebody that has 500 followers might retweet this. Well, now there's 700 people that know that we put up a new batting cage. And I'm just going to use this one specific tweet. So I put up a batting cage. Well, not me, myself. I apologize. The program, we put up a batting cage. We had a great athletic director. He got that going. We put that up on social media. That's put up on Twitter and Facebook. We had about 30 shares on Facebook, and I'm assuming each person would at least have 100 friends. Well, that's 1,000 people that have now seen that we're upgrading facilities. We put that on Twitter. Our school has a couple thousand. Our athletic department has probably 500 or 600. So the benefits of these people. So now where I'm going with that is, now you have over 4,000 or 5,000 people that know that renovations are going on. And I'm not saying that everybody has to see what's going on in your program and you got to be this and you got to show it off. But that's how you reach these young men. Social media. I promise you, they all have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I promise you. I've had more conversations with young men through Instagram than cell phones, because that's just where we're at with it. It's easier to get a hold of them because some of these kids change phones all the time. Some of these kids maybe don't or can't afford a phone. I don't know what their situation is. And then again, I'm not putting people's business out there. But that's a lot of times how you can get hold of some of them inner city kids, or kids that aren't as blessed as others. And that's okay. But if we're not up to date on the social media, it's going to be hard when we have the one kid who we don't think we can reach because, well, I ain't getting on that Instagram. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And I think we know as coaches that when we're players or as coaches, when we got in that mindset of I'm not doing it, it normally came around and bit us in the butt, and we had to start getting in tune with what's going on. That's just my take on social media. I know there's a lot of negative, and I know there's a lot of things that I may have not covered, but that was just on my heart. I was just thinking about it. Guys, social media can be so vital to a program, especially a young coach as myself. I'm 25 years old and head baseball coach at Moore High School, and I just know that in years to come, I just want guys to be able to look back. This is what we did. This is what's going on. And bring back those good memories, because sometimes that's what it does. It brings back those good memories, but it also lets your guys know we're promoting. We want to do these things. We want you to be in the spotlight. So this is another Coach's Talk with Coach Tabor. You have a great day, great Sunday, and looking forward to talking to you again.